This is plastic casing that slides, or in fact rips apart, consists of two pieces. Normally you would put electrical wires in it and then conceal it with this part. But I found that this, being flexible, is absolutely ideal for what we need on the pinball table. Let me show you. We'll just put it in that position, snap it shut onto its bracket here. One small bracket on this side, which we can screw in, and another little bracket on this side that also needs to be screwed in. When it's fitted, it will then look like this. A real pinball table is full of bumpers that makes the ball ping and bounce all over the place. Since we have no electrics, I've had to come up with my own homemade bumper, which is just a little rubber bouncy ball with a screw placed through the middle, and I'm going to position it about here, so when the ball comes down the ramp and around here, it's going to hit the rubber ball and then bounce and make its way into play. Now, of course, there is no exact position for this bumper. It's simply a matter of suck it and see how well the ball will bounce off it. Okay, it actually took me 3 attempts to get that location. I'm pulling the firing mechanism as far back as I can, and let's see what effect that bumper has on the ball. There we are. That's the desired result that I'm looking for, that the ball is flipped somewhere across into the middle of the table. You'll just have to work it out by trial and error. So at the moment, this part of the arch is a little bit too flexible, so by putting some reinforcers in the corner and this little piece here at 45 degrees, we'll screw it in and give very good support to this point. We obviously don't want the ball disappearing off under the ramp here, so using the same 1/2 inch plastic, I'm just fitting a little railing here to prevent that from happening, and it will just clip on the top. There we are, that'll do the job. Now we've got to give some serious thought to the layout of the tabletop, so it's time for a cup of coffee, and make sure we don't stab ourselves in the eye with a screwdriver. The first thing we need to put on the tabletop is a couple of muck channels. I'm just using pieces of wood that will direct the ball down and out of play. So let's just screw them in. And at the bottom of this muck channel, I'm going to put another rubber bumper. And then we have a second muck channel on the left-hand side. And another bumper right next to the flipper. So let's see how it plays so far. Around the curve, onto the bumper. And down the left-hand muck channel. Who said this game was going to be easy? To speed the game up, let's have a couple more bumpers, one at the end of the ramp, another one at the top of the right-hand muck rail. And of course, let's put one at the top of the left-hand muck rail as well. What we have so far then is a table that looks like this. 2 orange bumpers at the front, 2 green bumpers in the middle protecting the right and left-hand muck rails, and 2 blue bumpers next to the flippers. The scoring mechanism starts with a little standard brass hinge. This one is approximately 2 inches long. Cut it in half, leaving about 1 inch. Take your piece of wood, mount the hinge onto the piece of wood so that when the ball comes along and hits the hinge will then fly up, and by the use of some little magnetic strips will then stay in position. On this first piece of wood we're mounting 2 hinges. Open up the hinge, then using a piece of magnet, screw the magnet in on the underside of the wood, that the magnetic side is facing the hinge, so that when the ball hits the hinge will fly up and now be kept in place by the magnet. The 2 hinges are now mounted on the piece of wood. The magnetic has been screwed in at the top. It's just a question now, nice long 2-inch screw, getting under the table and screwing up through a bumper. There it is, the top of the screw just appearing. Now we'll take our piece of wood. I've already pre-drilled a small little hole. Screwing up from underneath the table, through the bumper, and up onto the wooden frame. As the ball goes under the arch, it hits the hinge sweeps up, it's stuck, kept in position with a magnet. And just to smarten things up a bit, I've actually found some fridge magnets. They say point on it. So as you hit it, it sweeps up in position, and that is how you score a point on my pinball table. So here it is in situ. All you have to do now is repeat the process and put this one set of targets at the back. Don't line them up exactly, because I don't want you to hit 2 targets with 1 shot. So if you look carefully, you'll see that the top target is about 1 inch to the right of the target in the middle. Just make sure these fridge magnets are properly super glued on, because they're going to come in for a lot of bashing. Now we want 1 more here, and I think on this side, instead of having just 2, I'm going to put 5, and I'm going to make them a bit smaller and use a different type of fridge magnet.